Hello, bonjour, welcome everybody to the Pathways to Employment Supporting Newcomers in Canada webinar. My name is Amy Robichaud. I'm the CEO of Mothers Matter Canada, and I am delighted to be with everyone here today. Before we begin, I just want to highlight an accessibility feature that is available to all of us on Zoom. So please feel free to turn on Zoom captions to ensure that you can fully participate. You can set the captions to the language of your choice for a more accessible experience. My colleague Cassidy has just shared the how to do that with captions and subtitles in the chat. So please feel free to go over there and gather that information. At this time, I think it's really important to acknowledge that Mothers Matter Canada's headquarters are located on the ancestral and unceded traditional territories of the Coast Salish peoples. This includes the Tsleil-Waututh, the Squamish, and the Musqueam nations. Mothers Matter Canada recognizes that our programs reach right across Turtle Island, and that through our valued program delivery partners, they touch people from coast to coast to coast. Part of our practice here is to acknowledge, recognize, and seek to mitigate the harm caused by colonialism to Two-Spirited and Indigenous women, and to actively choose to uplift Indigenous voices. Coast Salish peoples, for the most part, come from matrilineal societies that, since time immemorial, have valued and elevated the role of women and mothers as leaders, and getting back to that is something that I think is key to our learning and our growth and our mission here at Mothers Matter Canada. Today's webinar marks a significant milestone for this program. It's the final session for the first cohort of the Men Like Me program. And this has been 30 weeks across 6 sites that are located in Edmonton, Yellowknife, Saskatoon, Regina, and Toronto. And over these 30 weeks, this program has supported newcomer and refugee fathers to reflect on their identities, on masculine identity, on what it means to be men, fathers, co-parents, partners, and embracing the role that they have and that masculinity has in fostering healthy families and relationships. They've unpacked what masculinity is, both positive and negative, and the role it plays in their lives. And all the participants have really stepped up as allies in the fight against violence and the gendered nature that violence so often takes form of violence. During the program, one of the things we've heard really clearly from participants is their challenge in finding employment in Canada and providing for their families. And so in an effort to help address this critical concern, today's session is going to focus on employment opportunities and support systems that are available to help everybody, but in particular newcomers, navigate the Canadian job market, which is, really mission critical here. We also are going to hear from experts about effective strategies to supporting and retaining newcomers in programs like the Men Like Me initiative. You'll learn about employment tools and resources. Hopefully by the end of this, you'll have discovered new organizations that are offering employment support across Canada and gain insight into how you can support the success of your clients if they're newcomers, or if you're a newcomer yourself, insight into how you can advocate for yourself as you move forward. We are really, really fortunate today to have Amy Jo as our moderator of our panel today. Amy is a program manager here at Mothers Matter Canada, and genuinely one of the most thoughtful and professional individuals that I have the pleasure to work with. So I'm looking forward to all of us experiencing her moderation and her navigation of us through this conversation today. Amy, I'll turn it over to you. Take us away.
Hi, Amy. Thanks so much. And for everyone else, I'm also Amy, and Amy Robichaud. Thank you so much for opening our webinar. You also for sure embody the ideal envision of what I see as like a strong female leader. And I love how you have led Mothers Matter Canada. So thank you so much for your leadership and oversight. So today we have six amazing speakers with us, joining us from Toronto, Regina, Edmonton, Yellowknife, Saskatoon, and Vancouver. So I'll have each one of the speakers introduce themselves and also provide a description of the employment programs and services offered by their organization. To start off, we have Magdalena Acuna. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much. Thank you everybody for being here. Wasn't expecting to be the first, the very first. So I'll rate the eyes here, it looks like. So as I said, thank you so much for inviting Access Employment, being part of this of this workshop today. I definitely agree that probably one of the hardest things that newcomers face when landing in Canada has to do on how to provide to their families and finding meaningful jobs in Canada. So as I said, my name is Magdalena Acuña. I'm the Director for Services and Refugee Programs at Access Employment. I bring over 20 years of experience in social impact, public policy, and nonprofit management. And I've had the privilege of working alongside incredible teams and organizations across along my career, driving positive change. I've always worked, I've been passionate about impacting communities and especially supporting those who face significant barriers in their pursuit of economic opportunities. So as director at Access Employment, I oversee a team that works providing comprehensive supports to refugee and newcomers, particularly in Toronto and the GTA, but we do also have IRCC funding, so we actually serve across Canada, and we have a lot of resources that are online. So our goal is simple but impactful, so help newcomers to find meaningful jobs and thrive in the communities they land. So about Access Employment, and we can put up the slide. So Access Employment is a non-profit organization dedicated to helping immigrants, refugees, and job seekers from diverse backgrounds integrate into the Canadian job market. So we are an employment organization, not a settlement organization, but a specialized employment organization. And we've been in supporting and in this business for over 37 years, as you can see there in the slide. So each year we serve over 56,000 clients. Out of them, 86% are immigrants. This speaks to the significant role that we play within the community and ensuring that newcomers access the tools and the guidance they need to actually succeed and be included into the Canadian workforce. We not only focus on supporting you finding unemployment, but we really try hard to help you find something that is actually meaningful for you, that is a career that you can grow over time and really bring all your potential into the Canadian economy. So we're proud to say that over 85% of the clients who go through our programming find meaningful jobs after completing our services, and that talks about the tireless work that all the team members do. We are over 300 employees in Access. So how do we do this, right? So we provide a variety of services designed to assist job seekers facing these barriers to employment. And the services include career coaching, resume building, job search strategies, interview preparation, networking preparation. And we also offer sector-specific programs where newcomers can access specialized training to gain understanding on how the industry that they used to work in their back home actually apply and roll out within the Canadian context. So one of the things that sets us apart, I would say, is that we closely collaborate with community partners and with employers. We have a network of over 4,200 employers who actively work with us. And we work with them and they are open to hire these newcomers. But the key thing is we work on the two sides. I always like to say that the adaptation is both ways, right? I understand that I am a newcomer, right? Like all newcomers, we need to adapt and understand how the workplace culture plays here in Canada, which is the structure, how it works. However, I also feel that it's important to work with employers so they can diminish biases that actually limit them to access this pool of talented job seekers. So we really work also with the employers in trying to support and identify if there are biases that are kind of letting job seekers out of their scope. So I think so. Well, okay. So yeah. So I think I'll stop it here for now. I hope I'm okay with time. I'll talk more afterwards about the other programs that we provide. But just for you to know, we have over 40 different programs that we run all the year. So definitely access the webpage that it's in the slide because there you'll see all the different programming that we offer. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Magdalena. And with 40 different programs and so many resources that you have, and also so many sites in Toronto, the Greater Toronto area, you can serve so many participants, so many job seekers looking for employment right now. So if you're in the Toronto area, the Greater Toronto area, feel free to pop over to Access Employment. And then I'll move on over to Mahad, who is from Regina.
Hi, everyone. So my name is Mihad. I'm the team lead of the Newcomer Employment and Settlement Services at Rooted Connections. I'm also president and chair of the Sudanese Canadian Cultural Society based here in Regina. I have about 10 years of experience within the nonprofit sector. So the employment services that we provide within our program here are specifically for newcomers. So people that are permanent residents, open work permits, and refugees. The employment program offers one-on-one employment counseling where you would get help with career mapping, job coaching, resume and cover letter building, as well as mock interviews for interview prep. We also have connected with one of the other nonprofits here within the city called Dress for Success. We are able to then connect our females to be able to get clothing for their job interviews, as well as for when they do gain employment, they're able to go there and they get about a week's worth of clothing to wear for those for their work. So they're able to get, anything from dresses, pantsuits, all the way to accessories, work bags, and they also offer you to be able to go have your hair done and also get your nails done so that you're prepared to look good for an interview. We also offer various workshops to equip our clients with the skills needed to succeed in the Canadian job market. We have an 80% success rate with client job placements. And then also we do sometimes get clients that come back to our program when they're ready to change their career paths, because as we know, often with immigrants and newcomers to Canada, you're looking for a job first to get your foot in the job market. Once you gain that experience, you're then ready to move into another career path that's either more aligned with your previous experience, or you've discovered something new that you're like and you enjoy. We also have other programs such as the Newcomer Family Support Program. So this program is specific to newcomer families again, but families that are facing severe challenges and barriers to settlement here in Canada. So it includes things like gender-based violence, involvement with child protection, severe and chronic health conditions, as well as mental health support, and also helping people that are facing homelessness and addictions. Once you do become a Canadian citizen, we don't just leave you to fend for yourself. You can then transfer you into our other programs such as the Family Support Program or the Families First program. The Family Support Program is very similar to the Newcomer Family Support, but this focuses on those other issues without a settlement piece attached to it. And then the Families First program is specific to families with young children that are under the age of 5. We also have our counseling services that have a sliding scale payment method so that it's accessible to everybody. If money is an issue, it's not a problem for us. We're able to work with you to be able to come to either an agreement on how they can make that service available to you. We also have our youth mentorship program that supports youth under the age of 25 and to help divert them from a life either in gangs and drugs, alcohol addictions, and whatnot. So those are kind of most of the programs that we offer. Our employment services team is pretty small. We're only about 8 people, but we serve over 300 clients. And here within the city, we are connected to over 200 employers so that we're able to get those connections and refer our clients to those different places that are willing to accept people either with a lower English level or without any Canadian experience, because we know that, not having Canadian experience and not having a Canadian education is a big barrier to employment. So yeah, that's just a little bit about our programs here at Rooted Connections.
Thanks so much for sharing, Mihad. It sounds like you have an amazing range of programs that you offer, and barriers shouldn't be an issue at Rooted Connections because they work with all of the participants or job seekers to really try to get them through the door and through a really bright and fulfilling life. Thank you. So I'll go on to Julie McCrae from Edmonton Newcomer Center now.
Thank you, Amy. I have to apologize. I have a bit of a cold, so I apologize for my voice here. So yes, I'm Julie, and I'm with the Edmonton Newcomers Center. I'm the Adult Learning and Special Projects lead, so I involve myself in a lot of workshops, curriculum creation for programs, outreach to other organizations, that sort of thing. And we'll talk about it in more detail, but I also manage 2 YouTube channels with videos, one specifically for videos for newcomers, and the other is for employers. So I've been in adult education for 20 years. Most of that has been working in some way, shape, or form with newcomers. I've been with the Edmonton Newcomers Center for 8 years. Our organization is a nonprofit, like most of them that are here today, and we are set up specifically to work with newcomers and to help people settle and establish lives, be happy, fulfilled, healthy, those sorts of things. We've got a lot of different programs. One of the things that I think I really like about the capability of our agency is that we are trying to be kind of holistic, which basically means we definitely want to make sure we help people become employed, and again, in satisfying work, that kind of thing. But we also want to make sure that we take into consideration the other aspects that people need to settle and be healthy and happy and those sorts of things. So we have a lot of different programs. We've got several employment programs. There is Job Ready, where we help you do career planning and like some of the other agencies I mentioned, resumes, cover letters, mock interviews. I also do workshops every month to teach people how to have good LinkedIn accounts. And I talk to employers to on a regular basis to find out what they're looking for and be able to impart that to newcomers that are looking for work. We have In Motion Momentum, which is a pre-employment program to kind of help people who might not know where they want to go career-wise. And it also touches on things like information about how to potentially build your own business, should that be an interest for you, because of course those things are much different here in Canada than maybe they've experienced in where they lived previously. We've got a newer program called Skill Up, which is helping to have people that are interested in moving into the construction industry and kind of get them prepared for that, get them on point for that. We've got another program in response to the influx of Ukrainian immigrants. It's called Q, Connecting Ukrainians to Employment, because we had a lot of people come with some barriers. Of course, they didn't think about coming, and so they came with very little and oftentimes little to no English. And so we're kind of trying to meet those needs. And those are just a handful of things that we do. We've got new programs and looking for funding to develop programs that meet the needs and address the gaps that we see. So we're constantly trying to find ways to kind of fill that in. But we also have settlement aspects. So if somebody needs, mental health counseling, if they need help with legal issues, even just things like we've got a gardening program which helps teach people how to garden in the Canadian climate. You can actually grow things in our short climate. So we've got things like that. And like I said, we want to be holistic. We want to treat people as people who have more in their lives than just, again, securing employment. We want people to engage with the community. We want people to learn how to dress for the winters, how to enjoy, all that we have to offer as far as outdoor activities. We want people to, build careers, but we want them to build lives as well. And we feel that people that are successfully well-rounded are going to be a lot more happy and be able to achieve the success that they left their previous countries to come to Canada to find. So that's just a little bit about myself and our organization.
Thanks so much, Julie. I love your holistic approach, and I totally agree. Like, you really need to build a life along with your career. And I know a lot of the Men Like Me participants are also really interested in entrepreneurship. So it's great that so many of the organizations here are able to offer entrepreneurship programs because we have so much good brain energy coming into Canada, and we would definitely benefit from innovation for sure. And I would like to go to Jules from Yellowknife. You're muted.
Sorry. Okay, so I'm Jules Leonawashi. I work in CDTN on Yellowknife in the position of Immigration and Career Officer. So CDTN is also a non-profit organization. It's a settlement organization basically, but also working within the field of economic development. So we have these two portfolio of activities. So in terms of programs, we have employment assistance, we have career coaching, we have skills training, we have women immigrant access to employment, we have youth entrepreneurship, we also have an entrepreneurship portfolio. This is to help people that are willing to start a business, we help them to know how to write a business plan, to which door go to ask for support, and all that, all what is involved in entrepreneurship in terms of beginning a new business. So are the main programs. We also have settlement work in schools that helps newcomers to have their children attend school, understand the Canadian school system, and all what it takes. Okay, so these are the major programs, but in terms of activity, it's like everyone is saying. I don't know if it's necessary to tell them again: job search, resume writing, job fairs, preparation to interviews, career assessment, matching job seekers with companies that are hiring. So I think all the organization working within the field of employment, we perform all these activities together. So I don't think it's necessary to waste more time telling again what has already been said. Okay, thank you.
Thanks so much for sharing, Jules. In Yellowknife, I know it can be challenging to find employment when a lot of businesses are really separated apart. So it's good that we have CDETNO there. And also another feature I would like to add is that CDETNO is actually bilingual. So if you're Francophone, it's a great organization to visit.
Yes,
And
it's by
then, sorry?
yes, I was saying yes, it's bilingual. For it's French based, but if you want to work and live in Yellowknife, you definitely have to have some English with you. So, and our services do serve everyone. We all at times we also serve indigenous and even Canadian citizens. So there's no barrier to access our services. We also have dedicated programs for either indigenous or um, permanent residents or for newcomers, in fact. So, but we work for everyone. So our doors are open for everyone coming in. Will certainly have something to do with us.
Thanks, Jules. I love that you service everyone. That's a great feature. And Ashita from Saskatoon.
Hi, Amy. Can I share my screen with you? Okay. I hope you can see my screen. So good afternoon and good morning for some people. My name is Ishita Jamal, and I'm happy to represent the Saskatchewan Intercultural Association, SIA, in today's webinar. We are a nonprofit organization based in Saskatchewan, committed to providing programs and services that empower and relieve barriers for newcomers and Indigenous people. At SIA, I'm involved in the CareerNet program, where my primary focus is on coordinating and facilitating programs that empower individuals to overcome employment challenges and thrive in Canada. I look forward to sharing more insights about how SIA supports newcomers in their journey to meaningful employment in Canada. About SIA, a little bit about SIA. We aspire to build an equitable community that accepts and celebrates all cultures, and the retention of cultural identity and language to fully include newcomers and Indigenous peoples in Canadian society. Our employers benefit by supporting diversity and inclusion, which in turn brings fresh ideas, new perspectives, and a range of strengths to their workplace. We offer a variety of programs that help local employers recruit and retain diverse employees, from entry-level positions to experienced executives. SIA provides programs and services that empower and relieve barriers for newcomers and Indigenous people. Our mission is to promote intercultural understanding and the retention of cultural identity and language to fully include newcomers and Indigenous peoples in Canadian society. We offer settlement service, employment services, youth programs, English language programs, and intercultural programs and services as well. And the links are there, and I'll be sharing this at some point with Cassidy. My focus is on employment today, and SIA offers a diverse range of employment and community-focused programs. Let me highlight a few of our most impactful initiatives. So the mentorship program is SIA's most established employment program, open to newcomers of all professions. Participants are eligible for an 8-week paid work placement to acquire experience in their field. And employer hosts can benefit from a partial wage reimbursement from this program. Whereas PACT is designed for unemployed or underemployed women with foreign education qualifications and work experience in the fields of STEM and human resource, mathematics, engineering, business administration, etc. Participants are eligible for a 12-week paid work placement in their field of expertise. A 50% salary reimbursement is offered to our business partners that facilitate placements. Our B2E program aimed towards newcomers who have experience and education outside of Canada. Again, a 50% salary reimbursement is offered to our business partners that facilitate placements. And the CareerNet program is a unique program that connects newcomer professionals to a mentor in their field. And employers benefit by enhancing their own leadership skills through a professional networking, mentoring relationship. Our ECS offers individual supports to permanent residents and refugees who want to start a career in Saskatchewan, whereas E4E is a program for newcomers interested in improving their English language skills while learning about Canadian work culture and environments. Employers can benefit from trained employees who polish both language and employment skills. Thank you so much.
Thanks so much, Ashita. And finally, we have Claudia with us from BC.
Morning and good afternoon, everyone. Today, I'm very pleased to join the webinar. It is supposed to support newcomers regarding the employment services. So before I come to introduce myself as well as the PICS organization, so please, Cassidy, show the video introducing about PICS. Thank you.
PICS changed my life. They made me feel like I belong.
Welcome to Progressive Intercultural Community Services Society, or simply PICS, where dreams meet opportunities and diversity ignites potential. A place that stands for empowerment, inclusivity, and positive change.
My name is Sharon Gill. I founded PICS with $80 only.
Yeah, from $80 to $20.5 million is a great journey for all of us.
Since 1987, PICS has been weaving a tapestry of support, knowledge, and belonging. From guiding newcomers, women, seniors, youth towards brighter future to hosting events that inspire and transform. PICS stands as a hub of growth, connection, and change.
We call ourselves the one-stop shop. We're here to support you and guide you in terms of all the goals that you may have to make Canada a home for you.
PICS is where stories are created and lives are transformed. Join us in making a difference. Be a part of PICS.
Thank you, Cassidy. From the video, you can know that we are a nonprofit organization. We started operation from 1987, and our mission focus on enhancing the well-being of immigrants, refugees, and marginalized groups through a range of community services. We provide services that are culturally sensitive and aim at fostering inclusion, empowerment, and the overall integration of diverse communities. So one of the key focus of PICS is helping immigrants and refugees successfully adapt to the life in Canada. And particularly for employment program, one difference to others is we are in partnership with different colleges and university in BC. And one more thing is we also expanding our services to other provinces as well. In the past 5 years, we did have a lot of program for newcomers. If they want to have Canadian certificate or diploma, we providing a lot of program from accounting program, software programming, IT, cybersecurity, retail and warehouse, digital marketing. So it means that we do serve a lot of diverse needs of clients. So if you do have a great experience in your home country, but when you are here, you need training, you need support in order to get into the labor market in Canada, we are here to help you. So after you join us for training programs in from 5 to 6 months, you are going to be connected with employers for practicum. So this is very hands-on program so that you can, in the same time, you have academic training from the colleges or university, and then you will have the connection to employers to gain the experience. So in reality, we did support after the training program, 90% of our our participants get employed. So it is a good numbers. We are aiming to support more and more newcomers, and we also have the programs to support indigenous. In addition to that, we also have the program to support the youth segments. So it means that we have a lot of diverse program to support a different segment for our clients. Yes, thank you so much.
Thanks so much, Claudia. I love the direct link with the employers for practicum that your organization provides. And I know that when newcomers come into Canada, there's so many different cultural differences when it comes to applying for jobs, writing resumes, or interviewing in Canada even. So I'm wondering from all of you, what are some common mistakes that they make, and what advice or resources would you share to support them in their job search? And I'll start off with Mihad because you have a decade of experience, so I'm sure you have a lot to say.
So one of the biggest things that I think that we find as employment counselors is that a lot of the resumes are not aligned to Canadian standards. Sometimes, you get a resume and it has a picture of the individual on there, and it has their full address, their date of birth. Sometimes I've even found resumes where they wrote their social insurance number right on it. Right. And that's always a big no-no for clients. And so we're always like, we'll start at the resume and start working on there and trying to align it with what employers are looking for. We can create a functional resume, we can create a chronological resume or a combination resume. And then we also provide them with the resources that they need in order to do that. So our program kind of first provides those resources to the clients once they do their first initial counseling session. And determine what they're looking for. We provide all of the resources for resumes and cover letters. And then after they go back, create a sample resume, a sample cover letter, they'll come back, bring it to their employment counselor, and then they'll go over it and tell them what they need to work on. Usually it's wording, how to format the resume, where they should have their skills indicated, where their education should go. And then moving into things like going into a workplace and dropping off their resumes, what they should say, how they should dress. So sometimes we find that, one of the clients might have gone into a McDonald's to apply for a job, but they're overdressed. They're wearing a three-piece suit, right? And so you want to look professional, but you don't want to look overdressed for the role that you're applying for as well. Another thing that we also find in interviews is answering the question, tell me about yourself, by regurgitating what's already on the resume. So I always counsel my clients, when you're being asked, tell me about yourself, they want the employer or the hiring manager is looking to know who you are as a person. Also include aspects of your resume, such as your work experience, but how it's relevant to the role. But don't just state everything that's already in your resume. And that also goes along with memorizing the answers to the questions, to interview questions. And that becomes a problem when the question is formatted in a different way. So one of my someone came up to me afterwards, after they'd had an interview that they hadn't prepared for, or they'd over prepared for it. They were asked, tell me something that's not in your resume, which is another way to ask the question, tell me about yourself. And they responded with, there's nothing that I want to tell you that's not on my resume. And so, that was an opportunity where I was like, no, that wasn't what the question was asking. They're asking you to tell them about yourself, just in a different way. So that we then had to, pull back and rework all of those. They hadn't received previous employment counseling. And so after we did several mock interview sessions, they were then able to go and present at an interview, and then they were able to get the job afterwards. So these are some of the things that we've noticed just as employment counselors. So some of my advice often to newcomers is engage with your employment counselors. They're a tool for you to use, so engage with them frequently via email, phone calls, however they prefer to be communicated with, because they are there to help guide you from the beginning of your employment journey, right? From either helping you decide what employment options you have available to you, what career path you want to go into, all the way through to getting your actual job placement, right? Sometimes we also do post job placement follow-ups and supports, and that's usually more aligned with, working with the client so that they understand the general culture of that workplace afterwards. And also if they need more support with working with Excel, or they're not very familiar with how Teams works, so they can come back to us and then we can also work on those other things as well. Yeah.
Thanks so much for those tips, Mihad. Ishita?
Hi, Amy. Yeah, I can speak about a few very common mistakes applicants make and maybe some advice to overcome challenges. So one could be not tailoring resumes and cover letters. And of course, the suggestion would be customize your resume and cover letter for each job. Use keywords from the job description and highlight the most relevant experience. Other could be overly formal language or incorrect formatting, right? So it needs to be a very clean, professional format and focus on clarity and simplicity in the resume formatting. Then could be lack of research on the company or position. So before applying or interviewing, research the company's values, mission, specific skills they're looking for is very vital, and tailoring responses to align these skills too. I can talk about poor preparation for behavioral questions, right? Many Canadian employers use behavioral interview questions to assess whether candidates have the right skills and experience for the role. So maybe you can use the STAR technique, which is a very easy to follow method to organize your thoughts. Have at least 3-4 key stories that demonstrate your skills and achievements. And also networking is a vital tool in Canada, and many applicants overlook it, right? So job seekers often only rely on online job boards rather than leveraging connections in their field. So don't just apply online, attend industry events, as Mihad said, join LinkedIn groups or connect with others in your field. Networking can help find hidden job opportunities too. And I really like volunteering, which can benefit in many different ways, such as establishing relationships, showing your skills and abilities to the employer, developing new skills and knowledge, exploring the learning and learning more about potential careers, and gaining references. And I can share two links for two websites. One is volunteerssaskatoon.net, and the other one is United Way Saskatoon for Saskatoon. These are very good resources for volunteer database. And I want to highlight a few more things. At SIA, our training include workplace and cultural literacy to foster better understanding of Canadian culture. And we deliver modules on career planning and professional development, resume writing and personal branding, cover letter, etc. And as part of our employment training, our esteemed guest presenters also deliver informative sessions on critical topics such as workers' rights and labor standards, workers' compensation, recruitment and hiring practices in Canada. So this approach aims to equip clients with a well-rounded understanding of life in Canada, fostering an enhanced knowledge of workplace dynamics and ethical considerations. In addition to providing employment and networking connections within clients' communities through professional mentoring, we also work towards bridging an intercultural understanding between newcomers and Indigenous peoples as well. So our organization currently employs an intercultural educator who works with clients through all of our existing programming to educate newcomers about Indigenous peoples, their history and cultures, to support the Truth and Reconciliation Committee's calls of actions too. And our online and in-class training feature cultural presentations from our experienced intercultural educator that aim to combat stereotypes and racism towards, Indigenous people and newcomers. And they learn upon their arrival to Canada. Our educators illustrates similar barriers to inclusion that both newcomers and Indigenous peoples face, and facilitates an understanding of the deep cultural bonds they both share. Sometimes we also see that our clients face a lot of or go through a lot of burnouts And we strongly link to one's feeling of belonging and understanding of their world around them. So our clients are adjusting to a new country, right? And they're looking to form their identity while dealing with the social issues at play around them. So we offer workshops and discussions around dealing with racism in Canada. We also recognize that job search often induces stress and evokes strong emotions such as shock, denial, fear, anger, and strong depression. So our training modules continue to showcase work-life balance presentations delivered by our in-house educator with a background in social work. So this session is designed to address and alleviate stress associated with job searching, promoting clients' overall mental well-being and serving as a preventive measure against burnout too. Thank you so much.
Thanks so much, Ishira. I love the intercultural exchange and the decolonial approach that your organization takes with job searching. I will be asking Claudia now, what are some common mistakes that applicants make and what advice you would give?
Yeah, I believe that Meha Ishita have shared a lot of information regarding the mistake or challenges our clients are facing. One of the things from our side we observe is that the clients sometimes they focus too much on the technical skill. They are missing of soft skill. So for example, when they have the background in software engineering, right? But when they write a resume, they focus too much on coding skill. They not focus on communication or organization skill or problem solving. So that's why in our programs, we have a combination of technical training and soft skills training. So normally our programs is a combination of like the first 3 to 5 weeks is for soft skill training so that people can have a balance in like soft skill and hard skill. When they come to the stage of practical placement, they are well prepared. So the soft skill training in our program, including communication, goal settings, team working, time management, and so on, so that people know. Because for newcomers, they are coming from different background, different industry, right? So we have some kind of combination so that everyone, when they join our program, they have the times to practice and to exchange the idea. So this is the first thing. The second thing is about the lack of focus on achievement. They know how to tailor their resume, but when they write the resume, they didn't mention about what they achieved in the past and how those achievements can support the role they're gonna have in the future in that companies. So we will have them how to align between the past achievement and the future contribution in their resume, as well as how to elaborate themselves during the interview. Yeah, thank you.
Thanks so much, Claudia. Yeah, the soft skills are really important. As Mihara also pointed out, a lot of the questions that employers ask are behavioral questions. So it's really important to nail that down. And again, I'm hearing like the STAR method for sure. When applying to jobs, STAR method is so important, just relating your past experiences. Magdalena?
Sure, thank you so much. Yeah, so I think a great overview has been provided already. I definitely agree with all the different aspects and common mistakes that my colleagues here have shared. Definitely a general resume, lack of preparation for the interview prep, like not using the specific words in the job posting or the technical words. I think those are very common mistakes. And one thing that I would mention regarding all those is definitely being in connection with your counselors is key, but also just try starting working with ChatGPT. So really showing the job description to even to ChatGPT. So there are multiple free resources right now to actually find which are the keywords that you cannot miss in your resume or your cover letter, right? So those kind of things, definitely. But however, what I would like to really stress at this point is cultural fit and networking. So Isha and Claudia, both of you mentioned that, but I think it's never enough it's never enough to stress how important all these two things are here in Canada. That might be very different from your country of origin. That might be very, very different. In here, it is so important to actually transmit who you are while you're interviewing, and why would you be a cultural fit for an organization? So if you land the interview, actually, as Mihad was saying, so it's like, who are you and which are your values and how those values align with the values of the company. So you should do some research about the company, understand. So for example, in Access, so we have in innovation. So if innovation is the value of one of the company you're applying for, so again, just come up with an idea of when you were innovative in your last job or something of the sort. So very important to focus also on the soft side or the soft skills or the cultural fit when you are interviewing with a company. And the second piece is also something that was mentioned, and again, I think it's very important to stress all the time, is about the hidden market, right? Only 20% of the actual job positions open are actually posted in the portals, right? So most of the job postings don't even make it into LinkedIn or Indeed. So really building up your network, which is actually something that really shocked me when I moved here, right? Because when I was back home, I had a big network. I had built my whole career and so on. So I knew who to talk with, what to talk, But then I moved here and I realized that I didn't have a network at all. And then I needed to start building that up. Right. And it didn't matter if it was specifically someone who had an opening, but I would reach out to them and try to have an informational interview to understand how they work, how the company works, how they get there. So learning from others, and then you never know who could connect you with whom, and who might have an opening that you are not even aware. So really stressing, trying to find networking opportunities results key, and that is so uncomfortable for so many people, right? But it's the way it works here, right? So attending to events that are related to your industry, participating, for example, here at Access Employment, as Amy said, so we have 7 offices across GTA, but we even host speed mentoring, we call it speed mentoring events online. What that means is that you join a Zoom call like this one, and we'll bring mentors from different companies, different positions, and you'll have the chance to have a quick chat with each of them, right? So making some connections. So a lot of our clients end up finding a job after those kind of connections. It's because this person talked to you, they make a click, and it's like, hey, you know what? I'm gonna connect you with this person. They are looking someone with your profile. So I think those things are it's never enough how we need to stress that. Besides that, what I would like to say are all the resources that I think Kisidi is sharing in the chat. So there, I'm showing different resources that we have here at Access that could help you out. So the first one, eAccess, is a hub with resources. There are multiple articles and different templates and things that may help you when working on your applications. There are also a lot of resources regarding entrepreneurship, as Amy, you were saying, some clients are interested on that. The second one is IBM Skills Build. That's a platform with IBM, the company, and it's a learning platform with a lot of resources. We can get clients signed up on that platform for free. And actually, there are courses there on how to use ChatGPT to find the job, like how to tailor your resume. Like there are so many different things, but also upskills courses, technical courses that you can access. So please click here if you're interested, and we can sign you up and start benefiting of that platform. Talk English Cafe, other thing. So most newcomers, English is not our first language. So sometimes we struggle speaking in public, interviewing, and so on. So we put together all these Talk English Cafe, which actually is very kind of an informal setting. It's online, and we also have in person, but there are online. That's I'm trying to stress the online thing because there are people across Canada. So there you can come and in a safe space, start working on your networking and your chit chat, right? Because so many people are that culturally not like when from the countries we come, it's not easy though. We're not used to talk to have this chit chat, right? It's like, oh, how was the weather? How was your weekend? And you're like, I don't know, I came for an interview. I don't know what to do here. So really to kind of practice, sometimes this is very helpful for many clients. And then the last one is basically our page of events. We host weekly, we have multiple events, workshops, and activities that are live, like this one. And you can join, register there, and start your journey within Access and in learning more about the different programs, but also all these activities that you don't need to participate in a formal program to benefit of them. I think that's it.
Thanks so much, Magdalena. These are wonderful resources that I'm glad everyone is able to access. And I completely agree that so much of the job market is hidden and you really do need to network. And that's what Ishita was saying earlier about volunteering, right? Like once you volunteer, you're able to build those networks up. You're able to get referrals from other people because they're seeing that you're putting yourself in the community, you're putting the work in, and you really want to contribute. So networking is really important. And also just building the soft skills again, like you said, Talk English Cafe. Even for me, small talk can be really hard. It's kind of awkward. So for a newcomer, like that's even more difficult to do if you don't come from a culture where small talk exists. So for sure, get yourself into English Cafe and practice English and different cultural exchanges on there. And then I would love to go to Jules. Jules, you're muted.
Excuse me. So in terms of things that job seekers do that are not relevant, we say newcomers do not have a good understanding of labor market in the Northwest Territories anyway, where we live, the working culture, things to do when and not to do when searching for a job. Here are some mistakes we have been able to see. Relying only on academic qualifications and titles instead of thinking about skills. Applying only for posted jobs, using the same resume for all applications, not building professional network as you were saying, underestimate digital tools and network used for job search, and also not adapting the Canadian academic terminology in their resume, because there are countries where, for example, the secondary school level are not diploma do not have the same, are not called the same. When you say, for example, a baccalaureate in the French culture is not the same thing like in Canada. So at times you may see people instead of using what is used in Canada, still using the terminology of their home country. So in terms of advices, we say they should try, and we help them understand the job market, what are the sectors that are hiring in the Northwest Territories, to tailor their resume and cover letter, build a strong professional network, improve their communication skills. Like someone was saying, English might not be the primary language for most of us, but you have to speak English if you want to work and live in Canada. improve communication skills, labor settlement services, be prepared for a cultural shift, focus on certifications and credentials, be strategic in job search, prepare yourself for interview, be patient and persistent, understand legal requirements, and also make use of online networks, online resources, I mean. So those are some advices we provide and help them to have as to tackle the mistakes and barriers that they have, weaknesses they have while searching for job. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jules. Um, I would love for Canada to be more accepting and welcoming of Francophone communities, but I understand that English is necessary sometimes for a lot of the jobs. So it's good that you're also able to provide that piece and to provide speaking and just not putting the same resume out there as everyone also have said, like definitely tailor your resumes to match the job description, the keywords, and of course utilize ChatGPT to sometimes just input your essay, your resume and say, include keywords in where you can, and ChatGPT can do that for you. Lastly, I would love to ask Julie.
Thank you so much. So many good things have been brought up already, and I just want to add to a few and then bring another one up. So Ashita talking about volunteerism, very, very big for so many reasons, which you mentioned, the ability to kind of prove your skill set, get those references. What oftentimes people don't realize is that volunteer positions can actually lead to paid positions as well. So volunteer organizations look to their bank of volunteers when they get paid positions because they already know you, they know how you work. So it can be really kind of, that's part of that hidden job market a little bit there, right? So you never know where those opportunities are going to go. To add to what Magdalena said about fit, knowing if you're fitting with the organization, but it's also important for newcomers to understand how Canadian organizations feel about fit for you. And this is why bringing that personality and letting people know who you are. It costs a lot of money to hire somebody and onboard somebody and bring someone into an existing team. And so they don't just want to know about your technical aspects. They kind of want to know who you are as a person because they're trying to fit you in an existing team. And that's a cultural difference that a lot of times people don't understand because in other countries, preference is often given to the person who has the most experience or the most education. But employers in Canada oftentimes will rank fit even slightly above those things. I mean, you can't just decide you want to build bridges without, being an engineer. We're not talking about that. But I've worked with employers where they've hired somebody immediately out of one of our programs and passed up somebody who has applied for the job that has 10 years with that. And when asked, they said, well, we just felt she would be a better fit for our organization and the team that she's in. So this is why being able to kind of express a little bit about who you are is really important. And if you can't do that, there's going to be another 10 people lined up to interview who can do that. And so I think that's really an important thing to understand why that idea of fit is so important. But also to think about fit for you as well. What's a good fit for you? I mean, we all need a job. We need to put roof over our head, food in our mouths. But we also want to find something where we fit and we feel that our experience and things like that are valued, but we also feel like we've got a purpose and things like that. So don't discount that. One thing I want to mention, which is often a mistake that I encounter with people that I work with, is that they don't really value their survival jobs. So survival jobs are often those jobs that you get maybe not in the career that you're used to working in or want to work in, but something again just to kind of pay the bills. So, maybe you were, worked in IT in a previous country, but you came here and you're taking a job at a supermarket or something like that. And it might not be your ideal job, but it is what you're doing to pay the bills. Oftentimes people will leave that off their resume or off LinkedIn because they're like, well, it has nothing to do with what I'm doing. So they don't value it. But I really want to encourage people not to treat that kind of employment like it doesn't matter, because it absolutely does. First and foremost, it solves gaps in employment. So if somebody's wondering what you've been doing for the past year, you're like, oh, I've been working for, this grocery store. That's important. That then you've been doing something. Showing that you've had any kind of employment, especially here in Canada, it shows that you have to have certain things for that to work, and these are transferable skills. You have to have communication, enough communication to do it. You have to be, show up. You have to be able to be organized. All these transferable skills are part and parcel of those working experiences, those survival jobs. The other thing that's interesting about survival jobs, and actually on the Settle Smart Canada YouTube page, I actually interviewed a fellow who has worked many years with immigrants and talking about this, is that survival jobs can lead to something else, right? So you might be stocking a grocery store right now. Your previous experience might be in IT. Well, guess what? Most organizations have to have an IT department, right? So if you're working in one company at a particular role, the more you work there, the more that they get to know you, etc., then you are actually able to get their hidden job market, right? So, oh, you do IT. Well, maybe you should apply for this job, right? So don't discount the importance of those types of roles and what they can do for you. Excuse me, sorry. Um, uh, to kind of add to, and oh, thank you, Amy, put them, I think in the chat again, or Cassidy did. So the two YouTube channels that I was mentioning before, one is called Settle Smart Canada, and all the videos that I do are questions that newcomer participants that have come through the Edmonton Newcomer Center have asked in a class or asked one of their employment counselors, etc. And this can be things like interview suggestions, employers' advice, things about why to volunteer. Another thing that a video that I did was it's called new game, new rules kind of thing. So it means that if you've played soccer your entire life and somebody asked you to play hockey, you can't play hockey with the same rules as soccer. And so this is where that adaptation to how things are done in Canada, it doesn't mean that how you did job search before was wrong, nothing like that. It just means you're in a different environment now, and you need to be kind of open to understanding how things work here. And I think part of what I want to add to that is like these resources, like I think I've got 125 or so videos that again are answering all these questions, whether it's about interviews or again, like, culture aspects, like topics not to talk about when you're, meeting a born Canadian, because of course topics when you're having conversations and meeting people can be slightly different. And so you could make a mistake with somebody and not realize you're making it, right? So, but another thing that this kind of sort of refers to is observation. You need to watch the people around you, right? So, talk to people, find their experiences, and add that to your own so that you can adjust how you're approaching things like interviews, and look at other people's LinkedIn pages and look for free webinars and things like that to attend, because there's a lot out there where you can actually add to your abilities. So there's a lot of things about like resume writing and interview skills and things like that. They're out there. And so gather as many things as possible and have a really good toolkit. The other thing I just want to mention very quickly is, in addition to the Settle Smart Canada YouTube channel, which is specifically for newcomers, sorry. Currently, and we've been in business for doing, working with newcomers for over 40 years with the Edmonton Newcomers Center. We've also been working with employers that whole time, because so much of the responsibility for adaptation is on the shoulders of newcomers, because you're coming into a new environment. But one of the things that we found out is that working with employers on their end to enhance their intercultural competency means that it's a much easier blending when those two come together. And so you have a little bit better understanding of when you're interviewing a newcomer, why their answers might be a little bit different and how you can dig a little bit deeper to get the information you want, or to be able to observe and respect cultural differences in the workplace. So instead of somebody just getting a job, they can build a career and feel much more comfortable in that environment. And so the other YouTube channel is specifically for employers, but a lot of newcomers watch that too, to see the employer side of where some of these intercultural competency elements are. And so we're working with both sides to kind of help improve things, in general. So those are some of the resources that I'm personally involved with. So yeah.
Thank you so much, Julie. With the huge influx of immigration in Canada in the recent years, it's so important to educate like just everyone on how this new perspective would look like with more immigrants coming in and with employers taking in more immigrants, and also the different cultural values that every one of us has, and just how it fits in all together, integrating but not assimilating. And of course, I love that you mentioned with survival jobs, like you can always expand out. There's no hurt in asking your employer for maybe a higher position, maybe a complete transition into tech from stocking grocery store items. Like there's no harm in that at all. And it really works out when you are able to demonstrate your tenacity, your willingness to work, and really just show up at work. So these are all great traits to have, and you can really just expand your network from so on. And there's been a lot of emphasis on network. So absolutely get out there and try to make as many employers connections as possible. And lastly, in connection to this question, I wanted to ask all of you, what essential differences in Canadian workplace culture should newcomers be aware of? I know we talked a lot about small talk and all of those, but are there any other missing elements or some things that you believe are really important that they do need to be aware of? And I'll start off with Jules.
Okay, so in terms of specificities, I think newcomers have to be aware of some of these points. In terms of Canadian workplace culture, we have equality and respect for diversity. We have communication style. We have work-life balance. We have teamwork and collaboration. We have punctuality. We have workplace relationships. We have dress code, professionalism, and ethics. So these are some points that you can say, we can say that newcomers might not be completely be doing that before, but when they come here to work in Canadian workplaces, they might be they should be careful and respectful of these points. Thank you.
Thanks, Jules. For sure, the value on diversity is so strong here because we're a cultural mosaic here. So anti-racism and Indigenous initiatives, they always help. I loved when Ishita was sharing about the Indigenous initiatives at her organization, and it's just something that we do need more, decolonizing the very colonial structure that we already have here. And I'll move on to Ishita now.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I kind of echo Jules' answer. Communication, cultural sensitivity is important, and Canadians value clear, concise communication. And in many places, we see the hierarchy of positions, whereas in Canada, even a manager and supervisor can talk to, a staff member easily and frankly, so that clear communication and ways of using respectful and professional language and not being overly direct is key to understand the culture. Yeah, I would like to highlight that.
Thank you. Yeah, I agree. The being overly not direct, I think, is such an important piece because, for example, like my culture, we're very direct when it comes to saying things. So there's always ways in Canadian workplace culture where you can soften the way that you talk and give criticism. Like instead of do it like this, you can say, "Oh, have you thought about this approach?" So a lot of the times it's softening the way that you communicate to be not too overly direct. Thanks. And Julie?
Absolutely. One of the things that I think is a really kind of big adjustment for people from some cultures is the tendency for Canadian workplaces to really kind of encourage and expect self-direction. So when you are brought on board in an organization, the kind of idea is, yes, you'll get training for your particular position, etc., but you're kind of expected to kind of see what needs to be done, take the initiative to do that. Now, that's treated very differently in other cultures because of the hierarchy that was mentioned. Sometimes it's actually considered inappropriate in other cultures for you to take initiative with things without first running it past your boss, something like that. And so this is where we get some of these intercultural miscommunications when somebody is employed with the company, a particular company, and the organization will say, well, how come they're not doing anything? And it's not that they're not capable. It's not that they are lazy or anything like that. It's just that in their experience, they actually have to be told what needs to be done. And if they did take initiative on their own, that actually would be considered inappropriate, right? And so that adjustment, both for the newcomer and the agency that they work with, sometimes miscommunications can happen because there is that expectation of self-direction and just being able to say, okay, I see what needs to be done, or I have an idea, I'm going to start working on this, and then make the pitch to the manager or supervisor, that sort of thing. So I think that has been a struggle for some, not just the newcomer, as I mentioned, but the organizations themselves, and not understand that these things are handled and the expectations are different. And so the two sides don't really understand each other. And so when we kind of can inform both sides, there's those little, kind of aha moments. And they're like, oh, okay, I understand. I'm supposed to be able to do this, without having somebody kind of tell me exactly. And the employer is just like, oh, okay, so in their previous country or culture, this is how things were. So that communication can strengthen, and then those sorts of things don't end up being issues moving forward. So I'd say that was one of the biggest ones that I know I've personally had to kind of work with both sides on. So.
Thank you so much, Julie. And again, it's so important that you inform both of the parties so they know what they're working with. And there's so much freedom in workplaces in Canada that at the same time, it can be a double-edged sword. Like you have this independence, but then you don't know what to do. So it can be a struggle. And I definitely see where a lot of the employees are coming from. And also like with the employers, it's like the expectations and all of that. It can be very challenging for sure. Mihad?
Yeah, so I agree with what a lot of the other panelists here have shared. Something else that's also I find to be different, or that clients say, is that the office lingo and sector jargon, having someone say, put a pin in that, and they're like, I don't know, where am I supposed to find this pin, right? Or, we'll circle back later at the end of the meeting, and they don't really understand what these words mean, but they're usually used within offices and the corporate sector. So learning what the jargon is that's used in your workplace is really important. Another thing that Canadians really value is their personal space. So maintaining personal space and limiting touch, including things as just tapping someone on the shoulder to get their attention. That's not something that Canadians typically approve of. They don't like to be touched. And one other thing that I find with newcomer entering the job market is they don't really know what their rights are, what their responsibility is to their employer, and what their employer is responsible for providing to them. So also making sure that they're well educated and versed within their rights, either through the Saskatchewan Employment Act and the Human Rights Commission. So yeah, thank you.
Thanks so much, Mihad. Yeah, I can't emphasize enough like how important it is for employees to know their rights, especially when it comes to manual labor. You have the right to um, have safe equipment to work with, and if you don't, like you have the right to refuse. That is a human right that is so often disregarded and can lead to workplace incidents. So for sure, get educated on these workplace rights. And as well, like the workplace jargon is something hard to really accustom to. I remember when I was asked to draw a parking lot, I thought I had to draw like a physical parking lot. I was kind of confused, but then I realized they really meant park your thoughts here. So a lot of these fun little quirky things, there's a lot of differences out there. And finally, Magdalena.
Yeah, thank you. I think Claudia didn't talk also, by the way. So, so after me, I think Claudia will go. But yeah, I think all of you have provided a very thoughtful description of the main differences. I also think that we also talk a lot in the previous questions regarding this. So I definitely agree about diversity and inclusion, work-life balance. The emphasis in politeness and respect when communicating and the manners, that it's also very important. One or two things that I would highlight, though, is it is also very much expected that you, besides the the technical skills, that you know how the technical words used in Canada for those specific things in the industry. So really learning how things are called in Canada. So that's why these bridging programs that we provide industry specific, they will provide to the newcomers the specific language that it's utilized here and the standards here for their career, even if they are professionals from other countries, right? So I think that, so for example, one new program that we launched beside the bridging programs, we also launched this year a new program for healthcare professionals that it's called HOPE, which actually matches in mentorship health professionals with very recognized health professionals working in the sector here. So they can actually discuss about this terminology, so they can have those words easily. So I think that is one thing that I could add. And then I think I have another thing that I thought about. Yeah, okay. Yeah, so the second thing I would mention is that so that there is, so we as newcomers or as job seekers, we cannot expect that the people will understand what we used to do at home. They don't have the reference. They don't know what the company did back home. They don't know the scale. They don't know. So it is so important to be very clear and not expect that the interviewer or the company, they will infer which are your skills. So if you want to say that you have transferable skills, you need to be very vocal and explain clearly and straightforward what are those skills and how are transferable. It's not the saying, oh no, I used to work in teams. It's like how. So it's not just mentioning the skills, but really trying to make it clear for the interviewer and for your colleagues actually what meant in your past job or in your country, the positions you held, the people you managed, the work you did. So those two things.
Thank you so much, Magdalena. I'll go on to Claudia now.
Thank you. So I think that everyone almost covered everything. The last part I would like to emphasize is about the feedback and performance review. So you see, from when we are at school or in any work setting, the feedback and performance review is very important because it is the chance for us to know where we are and how we can improve in the future, right? And it is also the chance for you to understand about the expectation from your managers or from your supervisors. And from that, you can improve. And especially, that is a chance for you to talk with your manager or your coordinators about the training plans or improvement plans so that you can have further growth in that company. So take that chance and open-minded so that you will have like you will become a better version. So do not feel shy when your manager gives certain feedback, as long as it is constructive feedback. So it's good for you. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Claudia. Yeah, receiving feedback and giving feedback is important to improving any job that you may have. So I feel like that's very critical for everyone to really seek out advice from your employers too, so you know where your path is and how your progress is doing. So thanks everyone for all of your advice for employment tools, and I would love to learn more about all of your programs' innovative approaches to improving employment outcomes. I'll start off with Julie because I would love to hear more about the holistic approach you have there.
Well, it's one of the things that internally within our organization, we constantly think of people as having so many parts to them, so many needs, and so many things that like for instance, it's great if you can find a job, but if all the other aspects of your life are in flux, you're not going to be as successful as you need to be. And I think all the agencies here, adopt a similar kind of direction. So we certainly try to make sure that we're meeting as many needs as possible. We have a huge network of other community and government agencies that we work with. So the idea is like we've got settlement, we've got employment, we've got all of these different aspects, but we know we can't do everything, right? So one of the things that we do is we keep good kind of relationships with so many other organizations, and we kind of are able to refer people when they need to be referred. And it's the same with other organizations referring people to us. And I think when you've got a good community of service providers, then you can do much more for the people that you're supposed to service. And that's not even just within our own respective provinces and cities. I know that I work with agencies Canada-wide, and we've got people that have gone through our programs and have moved to Toronto and my hometown Saskatoon and things like that, right? And so I think that one of the things that we really pride ourselves on is keeping that sort of those relationships strong, making new relationships with organizations, and not being proprietary. So I know that sometimes it can be difficult, with funding and things like that for nonprofits and saying, well, this is my outcome, this is your outcome. But I think we're moving into new space where I think most funding organizations realize that it's by working together that we can provide those sort of strengths and learn from each other. So there's things that all of your organizations do that I think would probably be great for us to have discussions on how we can help support each other, right? So everything we do is for the power of the individuals that we're supporting, but also the communities that they live in, and our country as a whole gets stronger for that. We stay very much in tune with labor market trends. We talk to organizations. We get feedback from newcomers prior and after programs. They're the subject matter experts. They're the ones that tell us what they need, and it's our job to find a way to make sure that we can serve those needs. So it doesn't help us to make assumptions about that. We need to talk to the people that actually are on the ground floor of that, and they say, hey, this is what we're looking for. And so I think that's one of the things that makes it what we do pretty unique. And trying to make sure that we're meeting needs within programs. We've got in-person programs, we've got online programs, we've got the ability to deliver that hybrid. We have those online supports that I was mentioning. Currently, we're looking internally about creating some e-learning things for employers. I'm working on that, but also we're looking at the possibility of being able to do that for newcomers who don't work schedules maybe at their current survival jobs, or because of childcare issues, they can't attend class in a traditional time frame, right? And if we can't meet people where they're at, then people slip through the cracks. So we're trying our best to make sure that we are going to, listen to those things and see what we can do to, again, wherever you're at, that's where we want to meet you. And I think that everything and anything is possible if we try and just keep our finger on the pulse of what those needs are. So, yeah.
Thanks, Julie. I love that you're able to meet everyone at any stage that they're at. And also, it's really rare to see like that you're able to share all the information that you can have, because I know there's so many restrictions all the time of what you can and cannot share. So that's great. And I'll go on to Jules now.
Transformational changes in employment programs. So I have noticed 3 points. Anyway, Julie also talked about the fact that we provide, we try to find people where they are. So at times we need to be flexible, and this can be done by providing virtual or hybrid programs when we have some people that are already involved in some jobs, but they want to improve or attend new programs. We need to be flexible and try to deliver our activities in the way that most of people can attend. So we have virtual and hybrid programs. We also make an emphasis on underrepresented groups. Anyway, these are groups that we are really targeting. So we focus on marginalized people such as newcomers, people with disabilities, and youth to improve and inclusivity. So we have a special look on them, and then we try to have a continuous feedback and adaptation on what they feel about how we have served them, and how they like to be better served in the next points. We try to include all that. And finally, I can talk about some metrics, like measurements of the successes of what we try to do, to see if you are doing well or not, like job placement rates, participant satisfaction, career advancement, things like this. So we try to have a look on all these points to be sure that you are on an improvement mode. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Jules. I love that you touched upon all the intersectional factors that organizations often overlook. Like, we definitely need to have more inclusive spaces for people with disabilities, for different community members that belong to very like marginalized groups. These are all very critical to just creating a more inclusive and accessible workplace to all. So thanks for touching on that. And I would love to move on to Ishita.
Yeah, I really liked Julie's and Jules' conversation or feedback. We also have very client-centered focus programs. We think about their schedule, and we have online, in-person, hybrid programs. We have evening sessions. Our career night program runs during the evening, so more people can join our programs. We provide personalized supports to our clients. And I would like to talk about a little bit more about our outreach and partnerships. So we strengthened our partnerships with the members of the private and public sector to help client access supports and improve employment prospects. So our partnerships to improve networking and professional development opportunities included links to Saskatoon Engineering Society, Saskatchewan Construction Association, Project Management Institute, and a large network of mentor volunteers in the business sector. Our partnerships that helped clients access mental health services and financial wellness included Foundations for Literacy and Rapid Access Counseling, partnerships to connect clients with on-the-job search, included representatives at the Ministry of Labor Relations and Workplace Safety, as well as Workers' Compensation Board. Furthermore, partnership with Indigenous Elder from Saskatoon Survivors Circle created an opportunity for our clients to access cultural knowledge and understand the modern impact of Canada's colonial history directly from a residential school survival. So by partnering with them, we are able to tap into a broader network, increasing both recruitment and retention rates. Yeah.
Thanks so much. And I would love to hear about retention rates for our next question later on. Claudia?
So currently we are applying some innovative approach in order to support the clients. Firstly, as usual, we share the resources to the clients so that they know. For example, if next month or next week we're gonna have the job fair or webinar, something like that, we share with them. So this is some kind of reactive approach. But in addition to that, we also have some kind of incentive to support the clients. For example, if they have transportation barriers or they have children, they have kids at home, and they have some kind of problem in terms of dress or clothes or something, we also connecting with other nonprofit organization to support them with dress for the interview. So the first impression during the interview is very important. So we are in partnership with other nonprofit who are responsible for, their name is Dress for Success. So they are providing the clothes for the clients so that they can have better image in front of the employers. The other thing is if the clients have children at home and they need some kind of like 1 day, 2 days or week childcare, we also have the allowance for them to pay for the childcare center. And the other things is we also providing the stock training. It means that like first aid, health safety, something like that, some kind of short-term training, because normally the employers, they need very practical certificates for them to work immediately, right? So the forklift training is also one of the training from our programs, so that the clients, after they graduate, they can have those certificates and they can work immediately. And the last one, we maintain the good relationship with employers so that they are ready to support our clients when they are at the phase of practical placement. And last but not least, we also require the clients to be proactive, because we don't want the clients to have the mindset that when you come to us, we are guaranteeing you will have like 100% of employments. We don't want to sell the idea that come to us, you get employed. So we really want the client to self-equip with necessary skill, but from their side, they also need to be proactive as well. So this is some kind of both ways of collaboration between the clients and PICS so that the clients can be successful. Thank you.
Thank you, Claudia. Yeah, I do want everyone to know that while these organizations are amazing and these speakers we have today are great at their jobs, they can't guarantee a job 100% because you need to be the one that also puts in the effort, that also goes to the resources that they talk about and tailor your resume, improve on interview skill prepping, improve on all of these things that they all mentioned today. So definitely it's 50-50. You put in the work, they will put in the work along with you. And it's so funny that you mentioned, you and Mihad both mentioned Dress for Success and helping to prepare people for their interviews, because our CEO was formerly at Dress for Success. So we here know how much of the amazing work Dress for Success does. They definitely help out with all the appearance and all of the confidence building, because we know that appearance can really build upon your confidence for interview prep. And I see Amy is right here with
I just want to add that in both Vancouver and Toronto, there are organizations like Dress for Success that serve men. So in Vancouver, it's an organization called Working Gear, where they provide both professional attire as well as attire like work boots, high visibility vests, coveralls, gloves. So things that are needed for folks who might be looking into doing some manual labor or some other pieces. So there's that. And then in Toronto, it's actually the same organization as Dress for Success, that they serve men and women, and non-binary and fully gender diverse individuals. So I don't know of any, because my time at Dress for Success, I don't think there are any organizations that are explicitly serving men or male identified individuals in the other areas. So I don't think there's one in Regina yet, but just so folks know that those resources are available as well. And I highly encourage people to use them. One of the pieces that's really great that Dress for Success also does, and that Working Gear does, and that they do in Toronto, is they also offer webinars like this one, where it's just about that are free to access for your clients, that really supplement and are meant to work alongside all of the wonderful work that the speakers here are doing. I couldn't help but jump in and say that. So just so everyone knows that those are they're working hard to expand access for men to this service as well, because it can be really critical. That first impression in an interview, you guys talk a lot about this, makes a big difference, but also actually having the right work attire, whether that's scrubs or high visibility vests or the right shoes or good runners, can make a world of difference in getting both that sustenance job and that sustaining job to make your ends meet, and then getting on to the next role.
Thanks so much, Amy. So we have firsthand feedback from Amy. I didn't know that they were really expanding the gender diverse people, so that's great to hear. I also had no idea earlier that you couldn't show up to a three-piece suit at a McDonald's interview, so that was good to learn about. And Magdalena, would you like to share?
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, so a lot of interesting things shared. But interesting enough, we are hosting on Tuesday, in our next Tuesday, on our Toronto office, one Impress and Success event, which actually relates directly to this, because each person participating it's a full day activity. I will share the thing here, if I find it. So I'll share the link right after. Everyone who participates will be able to get one work attire for free, and also LinkedIn professional photo shooting. So anyone who is around and is interested in registering for this event, feel free to do so. It's coming next Tuesday in our Toronto office. Besides that, what I would like to say is, I think all of our organizations actually we are very focused on trying to do a trauma-informed approach, understanding where clients come from, also trying to meet the clients where they are at, and providing flexible structure for the different programming. And on that, and because we are focusing on innovation, one thing that I wanted to share is that we are actually launching in April our mobile fleet. So basically we'll have these this huge van that will be able to do pop-up events in different areas of the GTA. So that way we're going to be able to literally find clients where they are, meet clients where they are. So the whole last 2 years, we've been coming to the hotels where the asylum claimants and the refugees were staying and so on. And we thought that it was so important to actually be able also to participate in community events and activities that are outside. So we were able to do a fundraising to actually buy this van, and now they are tailoring it to convert it into a mobile office. So this mobile fleet, I think it's an innovative addition on how to actually be able to reach clients and support them where they are. So that is one of the innovative things that I would like to share today. And the second one, because I think all of us work similarly in terms of how we provide an integral or 360 approach serving the clients. So I think one thing that we really try to enhance and have in mind, and I think it's quite innovative, has to do with the future-proofing content. So basically, we try to innovate all the time and adapt our programming to the evolving needs of the job seekers in Canada and the market trends, right? So we want to have our clients prepared for a rapidly changing environment where technologies continues to disrupt in the industries and the labor market becomes much more dynamic, right? So, but the interesting piece of this is, of course, we provide training on emerging technologies and digital tools for becoming increasingly like technology-based, so data analysis, digital marketing, project management software, and so on. But the interesting part for me is not only that, but all the soft skills, right, that we were also discussing earlier, and also are part of this future-proofing content. In soft skills, I'm not saying only adaptability or problem solving, but also a growth mindset and resiliency training. Those two are my favorites because looking for a job is hard enough, right? And when people come also from very difficult backgrounds or stories where they had to flee their countries, sometimes the mindset is what actually puts them in a difficult situation to actually be able to land a job, right? So all this training, I think they're super important, and we embed them into all the programming as a way to literally support the clients to gain the skills to actually not find just this job, but also be able to adapt whenever it's needed and have the resiliency and the mindset to succeed in the long term. So the other thing, and also regarding this, is in our innovative approach, is that we also try to be always at the top of the industry trends. For example, so last year we launched 2 new programs that are very related to automation, and one of the programs is agricultural technology with vertical farming. It's very brand new, working with partners in the industry. So it's the first program in existence that actually trains people for this specific technology in vertical farming. That is actually something that is expected to generate hundreds and thousands of employment, but right now it doesn't exist. And another one also in the same line is advanced manufacturing. So working with the partners and the employers who actually will need right now those type of skills, we are inviting clients to join this, even if you have or don't have a background on this, because it's really focusing in upskilling, but also changing careers. So just wanting to emphasize how we really are all the time kind of looking out what is happening and which are the trends in the market, in the job market, to provide the clients the opportunities to succeed with the specific skills for these new trends.
Wow, Magdalena, that is really cool. These are so many innovative things that you have that really evolve to the future of the job market that a lot of people haven't even identified. So that's really good work. Lastly, we have Mihad.
Thank you, Amy. So some of the things that our program here is doing to be able to increase service delivery is we found that our golden hour for administering workshops and programming is really between 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. This is when children are in school, so mothers and fathers are able to come in and be a part of our workshops. And then we also sometimes provide childcare for parents with young children so that they're able to be engaged within those programmings and not have to worry about where they're going to be putting their child. We also, one thing that we've recently done is we've hosted a job finding club where we focus specifically on teaching our clients how to be able to find jobs and create job leads through things like cold calling and cold messaging to access the hidden job market. And also part of that series was also teaching them how to use AI such as ChatGPT, Resume, Co, and other AI-based services. And we also encouraged and we strongly encourage all of our clients to send handwritten thank you letters after their interviews. So we've been able to find that when you send in a handwritten thank you letter, not a thank you email, but a thank you letter that's posted or hand delivered, we see a lot more success with clients being placed. One example that I have is one client wrote a thank you letter to one of the employers that I have a good relationship with. And they said that when she dropped off the thank you letter, everybody in the office was amazed and they really enjoyed this letter and they really advocated for her to be able to be employed. And the hiring manager said he knew that she wasn't a very good fit for the position, for the role. But everybody in the office really liked her and they really appreciated the hand delivered thank you letter. So she was taken on for that role. Afterwards, they realized she really wasn't that great in this role, but they were able to then refer her to another role or another organization that was where she would have been much better suited. So that's not something that typically a lot of clients have utilized in the past, but once clients have started utilizing thank you letters, we've seen a great increase in job placements. Also hosting networking events specifically with hiring managers to be able to bring them in and present to our client base so that they can get, an inside scoop into the hiring process. How should they format their resumes? What part of the job description they should really be focusing on. We've had some of the employers indicate that, especially in the financial sector, that they give precedence to people who have shown experience working either at Tim Hortons or McDonald's because of their robust training and customer service, and that's something that they really value. Other employers have shared that if they get an application in and it doesn't have a cover letter, they won't even look at that application. Right. So for that specific job employer, but another employer shared that, if they don't get a cover letter, that if they get a cover letter, that they don't really look at it. So based off of the different employers that you're looking at, they have different things that they value. Some of the other things that we've done recently here in the city is that we've hosted the refugee hiring event with Jumpstart and West, and that we saw a really high increase in refugee job placements. And it has a much higher success rate than a regular job fair because, frankly, in the job fairs that we've been attending in the past year and a half, we found that they were more of informational sessions or marketing events for employers. They weren't really hiring or had any positions that they were actively hiring for, and it was really not beneficial for clients to attend. But the refugee hiring event, which was specific for refugees, and we focused primarily on finding employers that were willing and seeking to hire people with lower English language levels, some without any previous job experience or no formal education. And so we saw really great successes with that. We also partnered with Sask Polytech to be able to offer different programs with them. So we have an upcoming one called Digital Upskilling in Mining. We've also partnered with NGen, which is based in Toronto, to be able to provide opportunities for internationally trained machinists and welders to get certified here in Canada or to give them an opportunity to then be connected to Sask Polytech to be able to upscale there as well. We also have our own database of open positions that are shared with us from various partners. And we use, through that database, we pre-screen our own clients and we help them through updating their resumes. And then we pass along the most qualified candidates to the employers who would shortlist them for interviewing. So these are sort of all of the things that we've been doing here at Rooted Connections to really increase job placements levels for our clients.
Thank you so much, Mihad. That was a wonderful array of so many different programs that just sound amazing. And the really kind thank you letter touch, I think, is also great. It like really contrasts with the ChatGPT and AI era we're in, with just like an old-fashioned, simple handwritten note. So that's really nice. And just as an optional last question for everyone, because I know we're running kind of short on time now, what strategies have been effective in recruiting and retaining clients in your program? So if you want to answer this, feel free to chime in and keep it a bit briefer. Does anyone want to answer this one first? Ishita?
Yeah, I'm very pleased to talk about this. So that's why I'm like, okay, let me take this turn. I'll be very brief. So one of the most innovative approaches we've seen at the SIA to improving employment outcomes in our recent civic internship collaboration with the city of Saskatoon, which is huge. We brought in 4 interns who were former clients of SIA. And through this internship, they gained hands-on experience and exposure to municipal government. They were primarily based at the Cosmos Civic Center, where they had the opportunity to meet senior leaders, Mayor Charlie Clark previously, participate in various projects, and build valuable professional connections. And these interns were our past mentorship and career clients. And this helped prepare them for these roles through targeted employment readiness training. This collaboration not only provided them with real-world experience, but also served as a significant step towards engaging professional newcomers in municipal government. The success of this program highlights how we are bridging gaps and creating opportunities for newcomers to thrive in professional setting. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Ishita. Did anyone else also want to share how they recruit and retain clients? Oh, Magdalena?
Yeah, I can just mention one small thing, and I'm sure all of us try to strive to do the similar things to keep up and adapting and serving the unique needs of the clients. I think that it has to do with that. What I would like to mention, basically. Last year, as you know, at least in the GTA especially, there was such a huge amount of asylum claimants coming, and all the services were over capacity, definitely. One thing that we put together, because there was a lot of pressure on finding employment for all these new clients, right? But the problem we found was that actually something that Julie mentioned at some point, which is they weren't ready. Many of them weren't ready to actually look for a job. So we started building a wraparound support besides the shop specific. As I mentioned, so we specialize in employment. However, we understand that our clients are integral person, and so a holistic approach was needed. So we set up so many partnerships with other organizations to try to find adequate supports and building the gap between the person where they were and what they needed to be ready to look for a job, right? So we started setting circle of women. We started circle of women. We started storytelling workshops. We started drumming workshops, and all these things that were quite relatable for them because we're culturally appropriate. So we generated this belonging and this space, safe space where they felt better, and they were coming to our place, or we were coming to their hotel, or so on. But we were building that relationship before we sat with them and say, "Hey, listen, so your resume, you need to do this, this, and that," right? So I think that that's something that I wanted to highlight, and I think that I'm sure that all of us try to do that and try to see which is the best way to meet the client where they are, but also provide the supports they need at that given moment.
Thank you so much, Magdalena. Yeah, you're right. It's so important to just build that space before you dive into employment searching, because these people are coming with a lot of trauma, right? And sometimes you can't always unpack that trauma. You can't always try to reach them, but what you can do is just offer them a space to share their feelings and thoughts. And with that, I will be taking questions from the audience if anyone has anything they want to ask. If there are no questions, I'm just going to drop everyone's contact details in the chat again. Please feel free to reach out to all of our wonderful speakers. And if you have any questions, their contact information is on there, their website is there. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us today. And thank you, Magdalena, Ishita, Claudia, Julie, Mihad, and Jules for joining us to speak on this webinar. We've learned so much about the important programs and services, resources, and tools that you all offer with job resume, cover letter building, with culturally appropriate services and intersectional services as well, including everyone in the community and all of the holistic approaches that you've mentioned, and also helping clients and connecting them to Dress for Success, for example, and just helping them build confidence in their appearance, and also the capacity for them to answer in a culturally appropriate way, in a way that really tailors to the job that they're looking for. So thank you so much for all of your insights on this, the innovative methods that you've really shown evolves to meet the demanding work market in Canada. I really appreciate all of you for being here and for speaking and for just taking the time to share about the wonderful work that you do. And just thanks for connecting everyone with jobs, getting them bread on the table, getting them fulfillment. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Amy, for this opportunity as well, and to be able to share all of the services that are available to newcomers and refugees across Canada. I really enjoyed being part of this panel. Thank you so much, Amy, and thank you so much to Mothers Matters as well.
Thank you so much, Mihad. I hope everyone has a wonderful weekend. It's sunny up here in British Columbia, and I hope that it's sunny or at least warm where you are right now. I see
it's snowing.
I hope you're keeping warm indoors. Cozy and safe.
Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you for having me. Thank you for having us. It was such a pleasure to meet all these fantastic colleagues. Thank you for all your work as well. And looking forward to continue connected with all of you. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.